You have a record that will never be broken.
You can't trip on that.
They hit big shots with Luka. I think the Clippers have no idea.
Oh, look at that reaction. Look at that reaction.
What do you say? What do you know? It's the full Monte Sports Show. It is Monday, December 27th, 2021. I am your host, Monte Perez, a.k.a. The Sports Whisperer. Want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas. Hopefully you got to relax. Hopefully you got to spend time with family. They didn't annoy you too much. It's so funny going on TikTok or Twitter and seeing all the arguments that families get into over the holidays. But hopefully you had a safe, happy, and especially now healthy Christmas. I want to thank everyone for watching yesterday. 34 states watched the full Monte Sports Show. We are now at 125,000 views on TikTok. I'm trying to post at least one video per day. So follow me on all sorts of social media. The two major ones are Twitter, MonteJP231, and on TikTok, Monte Perez 231. Unfortunately, A. Marie is a little bit under the weather. She was traveling during the holidays. She went actually on Christmas Day. She went to the Arizona Cardinal Indianapolis Colts game in Arizona. Traveling back, she's not feeling well. So unfortunately, she will not be able to join us. But yeah, we're starting already. How about the Bears game? We're going to get into everything with our co-host, Brad Ward. Brad, Merry Christmas to you, to your family. Happy holidays. How are you tonight?
I'm well, sir. Merry Christmas to you. Happy holidays, everybody out there, everybody in the chat, everybody that watches the show. Hope everybody had an awesome holiday and a safe holiday.
Brad, I'm wearing this shirt not to rub it in. My friend Andrea just sent this to me.
Sure.
It's a little Green Bay Packer thing. But I got to tell you, you got to start advertising your gear more because that is a beautiful sweatshirt.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's like a, what do you call it? A windbreaker.
Windbreaker.
It's like, nylon, basically. It's a windbreaker. Yeah, all eyes on Cleveland. Where's it at? There it is.
That is nice, Brad. Very nice.
Thank you, sir.
So, Brad, before we get into the whole what's going on and what's happening with all the games in the NFL, I just want to talk about one thing that I'm actually going to write an article on this later this week.
Sure.
I am so disgusted with the NFL's approach to refereeing.
Oh,
and here's what I'll say. The NBA has full-time referees. Major League Baseball, full-time referees. NHL, full-time referees. What does the NFL do? The most popular sport in America, the most money-driven sport in America. They have guys sit in their office until Friday. They fly in Saturday. They go over some film, and then they go out for 2 hours on Sunday and fly back home.
Yeah,
my friend Jared made a great point. Why not recruit? I'm tired of seeing old, slow, 50-year-old men determine outcomes of games. Why not recruit Division I athletes, Brad? Why not have them full-time on the payroll? This is where the NFL is going to be cheap.
Yep. And you would think, maybe players that don't make it in the NFL, they still love the game. They want to be a part of it. They can get a full-time gig as an official. They're in top physical condition. They watch tape all week. They should be watching tape all week as much as the team is watching tape for tendencies, holding tendencies, grabbing tendencies, to go into that game and try to give each side as fair of a shot as you possibly can. And it's not happening. And the saddest thing is a penalty that gets called all game changes in the last 2 minutes. And it affects the outcomes of games every week. And it's just, it's unfortunate. And it got the Browns hardcore in this one.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to get into all that stuff. One of the things that, it was actually funny, I'm watching the Packer game with my dad, and the Browns score, and the Cleveland Brown offensive lineman literally pulled down the defensive. It was an obvious hold. But I had a cocktail, and I was going to refill my cocktail, and I'm like, do I post a video of this or do I go get my cocktail? I went and got the cocktail. So the point is, at the end of games, yes, as a coach, I used to say this to my players all the time. The refs are going to suck. We need to overcome it. But it was a blatant hold against the defensive lineman for the Packers, and the ref missed it. I don't think the refs have favoritism. I don't think it's rigged. I don't believe in any of that. But the referees are just not good, Brad. Can we just admit that?
Yeah, well, my reference is to, obviously, Donovan Peoples-Jones, the last interception, right? I mean, he stopped him in his tracks, and it's not like it's hard to see a guy grab a fistful of jersey, stop a receiver in mid-route, and pull yourself into the interception.
Yeah. It was terrible. It was
that's
a terrible
absurd.
miss. It was terrible.
It's absurd.
It was terrible.
And,
but I will say
it's
this.
unfortunate. The Browns played their asses off, overcame 3 turnovers, interceptions from Baker, made 4 in the end. The first one, you could make a case they were holding on that one. He should have thrown it in double coverage, but certainly guys in the league are getting away with a ton of contact 15, 20 yards down the field.
So, Brad, let's break this game down. I'll let you start first. I'm just going to say this just to give a little teaser here. The Packers are in trouble. And here's why, Brad. They had 4 turnovers, and Cleveland was a better team. If it wasn't for the interceptions, think about this. The Browns are on the road. Baker Mayfield is playing terrible, and they had a chance to win. So even though Baker played horrible, you got to feel good about that roster.
Yeah, and they were still down 10 starters, 18 guys on the COVID list. So down 10 starters, you're going in with backup safeties, a rookie safety LeCount out there. You got backup linemen, a thrown together offensive line. They're missing their center, their guard, their guards playing tackle. It's crazy, right? They're patchwork together. Basically the same thing you had to do against the Raiders, but with Baker back. And Baker literally came out of his basement, got on a private plane. I mean, he hasn't practiced since December 10th. Yeah. So does that justify the 4 interceptions? No, it doesn't. I mean, come on, man. Look at this, right? They played an okay first half, right? They scored with them, stayed in the game. And then you have the ball driving with 2 minutes left in the half. That turnover at that point in the game, you either go into the half down 2 or that's it. Like, that has to be situational football that the quarterback understands, that your coach understands. You cannot turn it over there. He throws a terrible interception. I still don't know what he was throwing to. I know Jarvis Landry fell down, but even if he stays on his feet, where is he throwing that ball? I'm not really sure, right? Like, that's just a bad throw in a bad spot. It gets intercepted, and of course, they go down the field and score. So now you're down 9, 2 possessions at half, instead of being down 2 at worst, or maybe having the lead. The kicking issues continue for the Browns. They can't catch a break. Their kicker, who was basically, could have cost them the game the week before because he missed a kick that he should have made, and they lose by 1. This week misses the first extra point. He's on COVID, so your backup kicker's out there, your practice squad kicker. He misses the first extra point, first opportunity you get in the NFL, and you shank an extra point. And then they're playing catch-up behind because ultimately, Monte, both teams scored 3 touchdowns and a field goal, right? So the game should be tied if you have a decent kicker, right? It's very frustrating. The Browns can't seem to get a break right now. COVID has ravaged them. It looked like they overcame it in the Raiders game. We didn't get a chance to talk about that. They lose on a last-second kick there. It looked like they were getting in position to win this game against the NFC's best team without 10 starters and down 3 turnovers to your quarterback, and you get hosed on a blatant holding call. Raiders could, the Green Bay Packers could not stop the run. The Browns couldn't stop Devontae Adams. I will say this. The Browns' defense has been very good this year, and they were very good again in this game down a bunch of people, right? A lot of guys played well, had to step up and play well depth-wise. But Monty, I still want to see Joe Woods, the Browns defensive coordinator, fired at the end of the year because there are things that should be done that are just common sense that I don't see him doing. Why would you not have Denzel Ward follow Davante Adams everywhere he goes? What are you trying to prove by putting MJ Stewart, slow, short MJ Stewart, on Davante Adams? He's going to get roasted. He's going to get toasted. You bring a zero blitz and leave a linebacker or a backup safety LeCount on, or pardon me,
that was my
rookie safety
right there. That was my
LeCount.
Yeah.
To guard him on a two-way one-on-one in the middle of the field. Yeah. He has no chance. He has no chance. That blitz blew my mind. Some of the decisions that are made, situational football right now is not great on offense or defense by the Browns really right now. And it sucks because the players have played their hearts out 2 weeks in a row, down 10-plus starters last week, 10 starters this week. They played their asses off and deserve to at least have one of these wins.
Well, and I'll say this, Brad. I don't care that Davante Adams beat Ward early on. You're right on the money here. You got
best on best
because you got to put your best on your best. And let's be honest, other guys stepped up in the Packer game catching balls. But if you could, let's say you throw the ball, let's say Aaron Rodgers completes the ball 80% when he throws to Davante Adams. If you could cut that down to 60% with your best defensive back, a guy who's a Pro Bowler, a guy who's an elite, it made no sense to me. And on the flip side of that, the Packers are in so much trouble because it's the same thing that have killed them over the last 2 years. I know they're injured on defense, but they are 31st stopping the run. And for the life of me, I don't know why Stefanski did not just keep pounding the ball to his two running backs because they were unstoppable, Brad, unstoppable.
Three timeouts, and they started throwing the ball at midfield. It is baffling. And
I like Stefanski. I don't agree with him going for the 2-point conversion either early on in the game.
Too early, I agree. Too early, too many points to be scored. You don't know how. That's my problem, is when people feel like they have to go too early. There's too much game left. You don't know if you're going to need that point or not, right? Early on, save it for later in that situation, right? I get the analytics say you want to know now, but you may never have to know if the game plays out in a certain way, right? That point may be enough. There's too much football to be played. I agree with you 100% there. But they are in analytics. They're going to follow the analytics sheet. They're going to do that. That's how they're putting this roster together. And I can't complain about the roster. Baker has had the opportunity, Monty, again. And I know that you can make the excuse that... it's a great question, and I don't know. I try to be fair about this. Here's the thing. Let's talk about Baker, okay, real quick, because this is going to be a conversation for a long time here until next year and through the offseason. Monty, what do you think?
Well, here's what I think. Can you win with Baker Mayfield? Yes. Is he a top 5 quarterback? No, but you can win with him. But here's the problem I have. He came into this league as a very accurate passer. And I don't know if let's be honest, 4 different offensive coordinators, let's be honest, it's not all on him. But
right. This is year 2. Right. This is year 2 in this system.
Right.
So you finally have some continuity.
One of the things that people tend to overlook, you look at Aaron Rodgers, and again, Aaron Rodgers is probably, to me, the greatest quarterback I've ever seen.
Sure.
Some people may argue Tom Brady. Some people may argue Dan Marino, Joe Montana. That's not the question here. Baker Mayfield, since he's come into the league, has the most interceptions of anyone. When you have a roster that good and that talented, they have very capable wide receivers. They have very good tight ends. They have a good offensive line. Baker, you can't turn the ball over on the road. And again, this is not something that's new. Since he's come into the league, he's had the most interceptions. Do I think you can win with him? Yes. But you look at that division right now. Lamar Jackson, when healthy, is awkward. Sometimes it looks ugly, but they put up points. You look at what Joe Burrow has done, and I have the same problem with Jimmy Garoppolo in San Francisco. All the pieces are around them to win. There is times when Baker has got to carry the team, and I don't think he could do it, Brad. So if it's me, I'm moving off him.
Yeah, I mean, that's the formula to beat them right now. Now, here's where I kind of start to try to be fair about this, is he's been injured all year. Let's be real. He played really well in game one against Kansas City. He looked, when you look at his numbers for his last 10 games last year, right? He was in top 5 quarterbacks for 10-game stretch. He was playing elite football, right? Took him to the playoffs, took the Chiefs to the brink.
They actually should have beat the Chiefs, let's be honest.
Should have beat the Chiefs, right.
Let's be honest.
He plays the Chiefs week 1. He threw the ball all over the field, looked fantastic. Since he has been injured, he has not been the same guy. He's been hesitant to throw the ball down the field. He's been hesitant to throw to open receivers. I think it's affected him mentally more than anything, right? The shoulder. Obviously, he's a smaller guy, so he uses his whole body and torque to throw the ball down the field. So I think that shoulder does affect him, right?
Brad, but
I don't think the front office, though, is going to give him a pass on this injury-wise. They're evaluating him as if, hey, you're out there, you got to overcome it. Go ahead.
What I was going to say, I know he has a shoulder problem, but I'm watching his mechanics. And one of that interception, he literally threw it like off balance, trying to force it in there. Is that because of the shoulder that his whole mechanics are messed up?
That's because of his size. That's a size issue for me. And I almost feel like I thought the suggestion that Aikman made on the air was fantastic. Like, hey, Russell Wilson at one point in his career decided he needed to take deeper drops just to see the field better.
Right.
Maybe do that for Baker. Like, he needs to do that. Or maybe just let him get off schedule faster. Like, if he drops back and feels it, let him roll, let him go. He throws the ball on the run sometimes more accurately than he does in the pocket. So let him get it. Sometimes Russell just drops back, and if he feels it, he just goes to the left or the right and makes it happen, right? Maybe you need to do that a little more with him. I don't know. Here's what I think. The Browns front office is not going to give him a pass like I think that they should. You have him already signed to a 5th-year option for $18 million, all right? So if you're going to move on from him, it better be an upgrade, right? And it better be in a deal where you get rid of him as well. I think that Sean Payton has some interest. I think he thinks he could make Mayfield work down there. I think that the Browns, according to Albert Breer, are going to be in on Deshaun Watson, according to him. Sure, I think that Andrew Berry and all those guys would love to entertain Watson, maybe Rodgers, even though I think he ends up staying in Green Bay. Whoever else is on the open market, there's going to Russell Wilson, right? But will they see it through all the way, Monte? I don't think they will, because it'll be detrimental to the ability to build this roster and sustain success in the future. I think they at least let him go and run it back with a healthy Baker for 1 year. Will it be a different outcome? I'm not confident that it will, but I at least think that's what they do.
You're willing to give him 1 more year?
I don't know if I'm willing to. I think that that's what eventually will end up happening.
Okay,
I think that there will be a lot of rumors about them. If I'm the GM, I would try to upgrade in any sort of way. At the very least, I would be bringing in heavy competition for him this offseason.
Okay, fair enough. So, Brad, kind of disappointing this year the way they started. And again, a lot of that has to do with if he is really injured with his shoulder and upper body and he's not throwing. But where do you see this team? Are they still alive in the playoffs? Do you have any confidence? Or you're like, you know what? It might be over for us.
You know what? I won't write them off just because, honestly, they showed me something in the last 2 weeks and 2 losses. They showed a lot of heart, I thought, in both those games being down. And going to Lambeau on Christmas and playing that way as shorthanded as they were. And So I'm not going to write them off because there is a path still. And strangely enough, the AFC North has opened the door. Everything that needed to happen on Saturday happened. The Steelers lost in a rout to the Chiefs, and the Bengals beat the Ravens, and that's what the Browns needed to have happen. So literally, the Browns play Steelers on Monday night. By the time they play the Steelers on Monday night, they will know if they control their own destiny or if they're out, basically. The Chiefs have to beat the Bengals, very viable, and the Rams have to beat the Ravens, or the Steelers have to beat the Ravens in Week 18. I think that it's very possible the Rams will beat the Ravens. The Ravens are pretty beat down at this point. They had to start their third-string quarterback on Sunday. They did not look good at all against Burrow and the Bengals. And I think that the Chiefs look pretty dominant right now, and I think they can beat the Bengals. So I think it's very possible that the Browns could go into Monday Night Football somehow, some way, still controlling their own destiny because they do play the Steelers Monday night and the Bengals in Week 18.
Okay, so we're going to transition now to the Green Bay Packers. You know, the more things change, the more they stay the same, right? The Packers, I know they're injured, but the Packers over the last 2 years, and Matt LaFleur addressed this to try to get stronger up front. But the way I've seen Minnesota has dominated them over the past 2 years. They didn't win every game, but running the ball. Yesterday, running the ball. We saw the Ravens do it with a backup quarterback. The Packers' defense yesterday, and Joe Barry, who everyone has been praising, and I've been slowly but surely saying, hey, man, you got to start adjusting. I don't think they blitzed Baker Mayfield once. They gave him all the time in the world. They play this bend but don't break defense, and no disrespect to Baker, but if he doesn't throw those interceptions, the Packers got outplayed at home on Christmas Day on a day where Aaron Rodgers breaks the record. So I'm looking at the Packers team right now, and one of the things that really bothered me over the past few years with this team is come playoff time, teams are going to run the ball in Lambeau, and they can't stop anyone against the run. And Barry refused to run blitz. He refused to blitz Baker Mayfield. And, again, they are now 31st against the run. What do you do in December and January? You pound the ball. So
here's the thing that's shocking, Monty. Going into this game, looking at statistics about the Packers, they have a 8+ man box less than any other team in the NFL. So they run a light box all the time, 8+ man box. They should be running it more than anybody in the NFL. What do you mean less than anybody in the NFL? The strategy against the Browns is make Baker Mayfield beat you. And I saw a lot of seven-person boxes still against the run game.
The inability to adapt on the fly. But again, the Packers are going to go up against Tampa Bay, or they're going to go up against Arizona, or they're going to go up. If they go up against the Rams or San Francisco, it's lights out. They can't stop the run. Sony Michel, who's been a great pickup for the Rams, is healthy now. Now they're getting their other running back. We know San Francisco wants to run 35 times a game because they don't trust Jimmy Garoppolo. They're going to keep Aaron Rodgers on the sideline.
Yeah. And the other thing that I would say, and this is kind of on LaFleur, and I think they talked about it after the game a little bit, but if the Packers get a lead like they did in this game, you can't go ultra conservative like they did. Like, their defense is not good enough to do that and play out the string. Like, you almost lost the game doing that. You have to go for the kill shot. Like, they should never be as conservative as they were in the second half, where they went three straight 3-and-outs because they're just trying to hand off the ball and throw a little dink and dunk stuff, and then Adams drops a pass. You should still be pushing the ball down the field because the Browns really could not stop Devontae Adams at all. So,
Brad, you bring up a great point, and then we'll move on from this.
Super conservative.
I'm going to end with this. With like 4 or 5 minutes left, they have the ball. They run the ball 3 straight times and have to punt. And here's my thing. If you're worried about a turnover, you don't know who you have as quarterback, because Aaron Rodgers is number 1 in the history of the NFL to touchdowns to interception ratio. Aaron Rodgers doesn't turn the ball over. So if your mindset is we can't turn the ball over, you have Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't throw interceptions. So why the hell are you running the ball 3 times in a row? You need to throw the ball. Let Aaron Rodgers make plays. This is what Tom Brady does better than anyone. They're up 17-0. Did you watch the Dallas Cowboys yesterday? They were up 21-0, and they let Dak throw the ball all over the place. I don't know why the head coach, Matt LaFleur, who's an offensive guy, believes when he has the lead, he's got to run the ball when he has the best quarterback of all time, and he never turns the ball over.
He is your greatest asset. Put the ball in his hands at the end of the game. Yeah.
100%. Okay, we're going to move on. A-Marie's not here, but Brad, listen, this Viking team, just heartbreak, week in, week out. Give credit to the Rams. Think about this. The Rams, they turned the ball over. Stafford had 3 interceptions. Yeah. And they still won on the road.
Yep. NFL is super weird. Again, this week, I mean, it gets crazier every week, Monty, to be honest. This game, it is insane. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Yeah, seriously. In this game, it was one of those. I mean, I'm trying to bring up stats here. Sony Michel, 27 carries, 131 yards. So, I mean, Matthew Stafford, 3 interceptions, 1 touchdown. Cooper Kupp, 10 catches, 109. He's amazing. We can talk about that more.
He's my MVP, Brad. He's my MVP.
Yeah, I know. It's wild. And then if you look at the other side of the ball, though, Vikings, Cousins, pretty dang good, right? 27-38 for 315. Madison, they really could not run the ball as well as they wanted to, probably. But still in the game, still there with a chance to win because of the turnovers. Rams are the better team, though.
Yeah, they are. And Justin Jefferson, he broke OBJ's record.
Yeah, he's wearing his shirt.
He's wearing his T-shirt. All right.
Pretty funny.
I'm going to say this again, and people people get mad at me on social media when I say this. Give me the better quarterback, and 9 times out of 10, you're going to win in the NFL.
Yeah.
So you look at the Bills-Patriots, right? They had Josh Allen on 3rd down, on 4th down. The 4th down, they had him in the backfield. He does a little juke. He gets the 1st down. Then they have him stopped again. He flips the ball to the tight end. Let's be honest here. The Bills are so one-dimensional, but Josh Allen won that game. He put him on his back, and that's what you want a quarterback to do on the road for the division.
He may do it better as far as putting a team on his back and finding a way to get them to a victory. He may do it better than anybody else right now in the NFL, I think. The things that he did to that Patriots defense, we haven't seen anybody else do all year. So
yeah, no, it was great.
It was incredible.
Good win for the Bills. I still don't think they're a Super Bowl team, but Josh Allen just dominated when he had to. And look, Mac Jones is what he is. Last couple games, some turnovers. You can't outgunsling a gunslinger in Josh Allen. So
he missed some.
Bill Belichick was very frustrated.
Yeah, absolutely. Mac Jones missed some throws that I thought he had been hitting in the past weeks. He did not play very well, in my opinion. And, I can't take the Bills seriously until they actually have a run game. I just can't.
Agreed. All right, Brad, and 2 teams that I can't get a handle on.
Whew.
The Titans are 10-5. San Francisco, I opened the show yesterday, the full Monty Sports Show with this. I've seen enough of Jimmy G. I've seen enough of him just making bad decisions. This game should have been 20-0 at halftime, but he missed wide receivers. Do you believe in Tennessee? And are you of the mindset that, listen, we've gone as far as we can with Jimmy G?
I don't know. He was playing pretty damn good football up until this week. You know what I mean? He was kind of rolling there a little bit. I don't know what Jimmy G is really yet. I feel like as he gets older, he could become a good enough quarterback if the right thing is around him. No, he's never going to be the guy that puts you on your back. It's the same dilemma as you have with Baker Mayfield, right? A little bit. But he's better than Baker at this point, though, I think.
Well, but again, Brad, I always bring this up. Look at that division. Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, Matthew Stafford. You're going to war with Jimmy G. I don't know. You could have a great defense. You could have a great running game. But, again, sometimes you just want to – my dad says this all the time. It's so fun watching Aaron Rodgers because he's never going to get outplayed. Like, we always
They
go
did
into-
go to a Super Bowl, and they did have
Yeah.
the game won
Yeah,
with
they
this
did.
guy.
They
I
did.
mean, it's
and he
tough.
outplayed Patrick Mahomes for 3 quarters.
He did. So you can't, consistently, it's hard to say. I think, they're moving on to Trey Lance at some point, right? So I think it's a moot point. Somebody else will gladly take him, though, because he's not bad.
He's not bad.
Let's talk about the real star of this game. This game was fun to watch because of freaking A.J. Brown. This dude, are you serious? I have not seen a performance like that, Monty. A non-quarterback take over a game like that in a long time. That
Well, I will
was
say
freaking
this.
amazing.
I was very happy because I was going against A.J. Brown in my playoff fantasy, and the guy sat him. He sat him.
Oh, my God.
He sat
Brutal.
him.
Brutal.
So I was but A.J. Brown's a freak of nature. Him and D.K. Metcalf went to the same college. They trained together. Listen, the Titans are hoping to get Derrick Henry back, and if they get him back, they could get to the AFC Championship. All right, Brad, I've been talking about this for months. When they were 0-3 or they lost 3 in a row, I said, calm down. They're going to get it right. People were killing Carson Wentz. Oh, well, Carson Wentz, 25 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 64 completion percentage. Think about this. When the Colts throw less than 35 times, they're 9-0. So they know what Carson Wentz is. He's good enough to win. He's good enough to make plays, but they got to run the ball, and it was a very good win for them to an Arizona team that has really hit the wall.
Yeah, I still am not sold on Wentz. I just don't know. Sometimes, like you said, he's played good enough, and it's a great story, right? But it's still, to me, it's not like the Carson Wentz that I first thought he was. I don't know if he'll ever be that again, right?
Agreed.
He's something else besides that now, and it's not good enough. But Matt Eberflus and that defense is good enough, right? I mean, seriously, they put they put the clamps on Kyler Murray without Darius Leonard. That's impressive. That guy has that defense playing really good football.
If you Amory actually went to the game. Here's a picture that she took of the sideline. So again, wishing her a speedy recovery. She's a little bit under the weather. Okay, I did something, Brad, that I haven't done all year. I picked the Jets to win on the Full Monty Sports Show. I predicted them to win, and they won. Your boy played very well. He played very well, Zach Wilson. He outdueled the number 1 draft pick in Trevor Lawrence. So, Brad, good. Let me have it. The Jets are good. Zach Wilson's a stud. Let me hear it.
No, I never said that. Well, I never said the Jets were good. Those words have never come out of my mouth. Let's not get crazy here. I just said that you can't kill this kid because he's on this terrible team. And this game is a joke. Come on, this game was a joke. Yeah, this is the prison inmate game of the week. Come on. I would rather watch paint dry than watch this game. I have no idea what happened in this game. Sorry, Jags. Sorry, Jets. You're both irrelevant.
By the way, the Jets. I think for this game, they had a ton of fans there, and the reason why is a lot of people gave their seats away for Christmas presents. So people went the day after Christmas.
There you go.
Good for the Jets. Get a win. Build on it. Yeah. I think the Jets and Bears win threw off the whole NFL yesterday. It really did.
I got news for these teams that win at the end of the year.
What are you doing?
In the NFL, more than any other sport, momentum does not carry from one season to another. Exactly. It is each season is its an own entity. You cannot ride wins from 19 into 20 or a playoff push from 20 to 21. It just does not happen ever. Each season is its own story, and that is so. Don't think that these wins are gaining momentum. You should be losing and getting a draft pick.
All right, Brad, the 11-4 Bucks beat the 5-10 Panthers. Listen, Matt Rule's done. I had high hopes for this guy. They were 3-0, and it's just been terrible.
Is he done, you think?
I think he's done, yeah. I think he's done. I think the players are frustrated. Yeah, I think he is. But let's talk about Tampa Bay for a second here. They're without Goodwin, who's going to be out. They're without their running back. But just keep playing, right? I mean, how good do you think this team can be? Are they a top 3 in the NFC?
I still think they are. Gronkowski, you still have, right? Who's he throwing? Antonio Brown, did he have a good
Had a
game?
great game.
Yeah.
Had a great game.
So, I mean, it's not like I know they signed Lev Bell, right?
Yeah.
You see, Ronald Jones filled in admirably, 20 carries. I mean, the one thing about the Tampa Bay is they are good offense no matter what. Like, it doesn't matter. They have great individual players on the outside, and those guys are gone now. And they did have a great running back, and he's gone now. But they still will run the ball 25 times a game, regardless of whether they're chunking you in the pass game. And that's what makes them so good, right? Like, they just run a fundamentally sound operation on offense.
Yeah, they used to call it the system in New England. Turns out it's a system in Tampa as well. All right, let's move to the a weird stat. The 2-12-1 Lions. I had the Lions going 4-13 this year. I think they're going to underachieve and not reach that. But Atlanta was 0-5 at home going into this game. They were 5-3 on the road. Listen, they're still alive in the playoffs, but no one outside of Detroit or Atlanta cared about this game. Brad, I'm just going to lose my mind right now because if you would have told me to bet my house that the Chargers, even though they missed a ton of guys with COVID, are going to go into Houston Texans and give up 41 points to a Texan team that has nothing to play for, and the Chargers have everything to play for, and they were so flat, uninspired. This game, they lost 41-29, but let's be honest, they scored a late touchdown. Houston smacked the hell out of this team. What the hell's going on with that coaching staff to not have these guys prepared in the biggest game of the year?
Shocking. And they've kind of done this all year. Let's be honest. This is kind of their MO. They look really good. They seem like they're going to take off, and then they lose a game that they should win. They seriously, this one is crazy. Hard to explain, and even crazier, it's not like it was Davis Mills. It was Davis freaking Mills, Texans. This is not your uncle's Texans. This is the Davis Mills Texans. Come on now.
This is not your uncle's Texans. That's great.
It's not.
Some great one-liners. The prison game of the week. This is not your uncle's. It's Brad. Listen, but again, and this is the problem I have with the Chargers coaching staff. It's like they have no feel for what the hell's going on. It's like week to week. It's like they have no identity other than Justin Herbert. I said to myself, this is a game that I said on the show, that the Chargers blow, but they're not going to blow this game. Talent-wise, forget about COVID. They're going to win. They have everything to play for. The Texans are looking to get out of Dodge and booking their vacation plans, their off-season plans. You can't lose this game if you're in L.A.
Hey, this is so Staley, right? Everybody is lauding this guy, and he's a local guy. He's an Ohio guy. He's from around here. Everybody is talking about, what a great job he's done this year and stuff, but he's kind of been exposed a little bit. I don't know if he is head coach material or if he should just be a defensive coordinator. This team seems better than their record should be better than it is, right? Am I wrong there?
Brad, you're 100% right. And I remember saying this.
You said this early. You did.
I was like, this guy has no feel. First of all, he commands no presence on the sideline. Like, I don't expect your head coach to be, rough and tough and rumble and all this BS. But, he's just so meek. The way he approaches this, you never see this guy fired up. He's almost like a nerd, which is fine. But, there's so many times I watch this team, and for 4-5 possessions in a row, you're like, what the hell are you doing here? One of the things that bothers me, Brad, and you know this, if a running back has a 10-yard gain, a 15-yard gain, and it's the start of the second half, and then they take him out and they hand it off to the backup, it's like, what are you doing? He doesn't need rest.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's crazy. They do that. They do crazy stuff all the time. This one, though, it wasn't even close, though. They got their ass beat by a Texans team that, really has nothing to play for at all. Davis Mills comes out and lights you up. That's just absurd.
And here's the thing. He's supposed to be a defensive guy, right? He's
Yeah,
supposed to be
yeah.
a defensive guy. Same with the Jets. I don't care what the Jets head coach. I don't care what your personnel is. If you're a defensive guy, that should be better than your offense. That should be better than if you're an offensive guy. Your offense should be better than your defense. Just terrible, terrible coaching on their part.
Two stats before we move on. Davis Mills, 21 of 27 for 254 and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. And Rex freaking Burkhead, once again,
right?
This is not your uncle's Texans. This is Rex Burkhead running 282 times for almost 150 yards and 2 scores. Rex.
Listen to me. If you and I went to a park and we saw Rex Burkman playing in a flag football league, you'd be like, hey, I know that guy. He was a former NFL player. What is he doing scoring 2 touchdowns against you?
I didn't even know he wasn't on the Patriots anymore.
Funny. All right, Brad, your nemesis right now, Joe Burrow, just lighting it up, had a monster game. I look at this Cincinnati team, and I say to myself, man, they got a lot of weapons.
They do. I look at them, and I kind of, under the – people don't say this a lot, but do they have the best wide receiver core top to bottom in the NFL?
And people were killing them, including myself, for drafting Chase because I'm like, you need an offensive lineman.
But if you go Chase, Higgins, Tyler Boyd, who is a really good receiver and doesn't get credit for it, those 3 are just incredible talent.
And you have a legitimate running back.
Excellent running back who has stayed healthy finally, right? Finally has stayed healthy for most of the season. And Joe Burrow is PFF has those scores, right? He has a lot of interceptions, but PFF has him as the top-rated, rating every aspect of the game and watching all the film and all, has him as the best quarterback in the NFL right now.
He was on fire. I was watching that game with my brother because my brother, an LSU guy, loves Burrow. But, I mean, one thing we know about the Ravens, yes, the COVID, injuries, whatever, but one thing we know about the Ravens is they're always in games. This game was over by halftime.
Yeah, it was impressive. I expected at least a close game. I kind of had a hope that the Bengals could pull it out. But, I mean, that's twice the Bengals put it to the Ravens. I mean, they beat them soundly twice this year. The AFC North is weird. Some teams match up better with other teams. It's weird, right? Like, the AFC, anytime the Ravens and the Steelers play, it's always going to be close because they just match up very similarly. For some reason, the Browns match up well with the Bengals. They struggle with the Browns for some reason. I think because of some of the matchups on the outside, right? They have Denzel Ward. They have a couple good corners, and their approach is different than other teams are with, like, their really good wide receivers, right? And for some reason, Baker Mayfield plays his best games against the Bengals. I don't know why, but he just does. But each team in that division matches up differently with other teams, and it seems like the Bengals match up just really well with the Ravens. And let's be real, they had Josh Johnson out there as their starting quarterback. Yeah.
Talking with Brad Ward here live on the Full Monty Sports Show. Make sure to subscribe and give us a thumbs up. Put a little holiday background up there, right there. Thank you, Brad. All right, Brad. Yeah. Listen, another thing that really annoyed me yesterday is I'm watching the Raiders, and Vic Fangio is supposed to be a defensive guy, and it looks like the Broncos have, like, decent running backs. They got destroyed in the running game. Vic Fangio, is he done? Because they couldn't stop the run. We knew it was coming. We knew at the end, and they were punching off 5, 6, 7 yards. The Raiders end up winning 17-13. They are now 8-7 and alive in the playoff hunt.
I don't know how they were dead and gone basically from this season. They were doing the same old Raider thing, right? Losing late in the year. They got lucky with that game, the COVID outbreak in Cleveland game getting moved to Monday. They come and somehow pull that one off. After Carr already threw an interception to lose the game, they give them one more chance. They get a field goal to win. And then they go win this game, and somehow they're 8-7 now, and that's ridiculous, I think. The This Broncos team is a mystery. I do not think Fangio should keep his job. Another guy that is a great coordinator should not be a head coach, in my opinion, Monty.
I agree.
You need a head coach there, and they need a quarterback. Let's be real. Drew Lock is not your quarterback, and Teddy Bridgewater, I love Teddy Two Gloves, but he is not a guy that can command and lead your team to the playoffs or deep into the playoffs. He is a bridge. He is a guy you hire to take over while a young quarterback sits and watches for a half season or 8 games. That's it. That's what he's good for. That's it. They need to draft somebody else or go get aggressive like they probably will this offseason and be a big player in the Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, even though I don't think he's leaving. I'll say that again. Aaron Rodgers and Deshaun Watson. There's going to be 3 headlining quarterbacks available. And if the Broncos added one to that roster, they would be very good.
Well, again, Brad, you look at that division, right? You got Patrick Mahomes, who's kind of righted the ship now. You got Justin Herbert, who's an absolute stud. And people don't want to give Derek Carr credit, but over the last 2 years, I think he's 4th in total passing yards. So Derek Carr is an absolute top 10 quarterback. He can win. He can put up points. You're going into every game having to out-defense a team, and you want to keep the game 17-13. Again, whether it's Locke, whether it's Teddy Bridgewater, I think his name fits him perfectly. He's a bridge to the next guy.
He is. That's all he is. And, and they have this formula to try to win, but they don't always follow it. They get out of their personality. Like, the Broncos should be running the ball, playing defense, playing complementary football, punting, but they get out of that. Like, they start getting crazy sometimes, and sometimes you just got to let other teams, like the Raiders, make the mistakes. Like, the good teams let the other teams screw it up. You just play conservative. How many times have the Ravens won games by just running the ball, staying in their lane, and letting the other team make a mistake late in the game? And sometimes good head coaches know how to do that. Fangio panics, and he tries to be something they're not. And a lot of teams are guilty of that. But that's the difference between a coordinator and a head coach.
All right, so listen, I wasn't watching this game because I was watching other games.
Oh, my gosh.
But this has got to be so much fun. The snow game, I was so shocked that Seattle team is a mess. But give credit to the Bears. There was rumors that they were going to fire Matt Nagy after the game, win or lose. They did not fire him. But this looked like such a fun game to watch in the snow. And listen, the Bears did what they had to do with Nick Foles. They beat him 25-24.
That play was remarkable. Like, that catch and the people trying to push him out of the back of the end zone, I still don't know how he got his feet down. That was just such an insane play in the snow. Nick Foles, I don't know what it is about that guy, but he's got some big cojones, I'll tell you that.
Listen, Nick Foles is like the best pinch hitter in the history of the world.
He is.
He's not a starter, but if you need him for 1 to 3 games, he's going to do well. He's going to do well. So
that catch is ridiculous, though. It looked like they're trying to carry him out of the back of the end zone. The snow's falling, and somehow he gets his feet in. Unbelievable.
Talk about like a Christmas game picture. Look at that.
Oh, my gosh.
That's awesome. Look at this.
So much fun. Cool. That's like what you would want to do, like the Turkey Bowl, like after Christmas with you and your boys in the snow. You go out there and beat the crap out of each other. That's fun.
That was a fun game to watch. Okay, Brad, before we get to I'm going to go off on the Washington football team here.
Yeah, sure.
But the Eagles 8-7 over the Giants, 34-10. Philly has won 13 out of 16. And since week 8, they are averaging about 214 rushing yards per game. They changed their philosophy, and people wanted to kill Smith coming out of Alabama. He's having a very good year.
He is. They found what they do well. Their run attack is excellent, and with Hurts, it's very difficult to stop because they've got that zone read, the different. They can hit you from different angles. Their offensive line is excellent. If you just find something in the NFL and do it really well like they can, you can win games that way, and that's what they're doing. They're staying disciplined to who their identity is, taking the play action shots, and Smith is having a great year just playing that role, being that guy that stretches the defense.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts is playing well. Like you said, they have little music here. They have I just had music in my headphones. They have really good philosophy. Their head coach has kind of evolved as the season went on, and he's basically saying, hey, this is what we do well. You got to try to stop us. And again, one of the best things you could do against a Kansas City Chiefs, against a Patrick Mahomes, against an Aaron Rodgers, is you want to keep them on the sideline. Brad, before we get to the Washington football team and Dallas game, I got to be honest with you. The Steelers look like they're not even listening to their coach anymore. They have nothing, no identity. They don't do anything well. This was embarrassing.
It is, but I mean, how are they 7-7-1 is my question.
Right.
How have they won 7 games? How are they even still in this? Like, you see that performance, and it was embarrassing. Deontay Johnson fumble is just the funniest thing I've ever seen.
I said he was trying to keep the spread. He was trying to cover the spread.
And over, because I hate the Steelers, but I mean, that was just hilarious. I mean, threw the ball on the ground.
Brad, I've never seen you get so much pleasure over a team losing.
Oh, I hate the Steelers so much. It was fantastic. It's going to be great. Even no matter what, it's going to be fun. This is Ben's last hurrah. At least we think, right? And he's behaving like it is. They still have a chance to get in. They can, if they win out, they're going to get in.
If they win out, they make it.
Right. That's basically how it is for all the teams in that division. So Monday Night Football in Pittsburgh. This will be his last home game as a Steeler, probably. His last, and the Browns are going to go there to face him in a packed crowd. It should be a lot of fun. A chance to beat him. I mean, they play different at home, though. They do. And their defense plays different at home. They had no business being the Titans last week, but they found a way to do that. They play. They're a different team at home. This was a joke of an effort, but I have no doubt that they'll come back and try to play well next week. Try to stay in the division race.
Okay, so let's get to. Let me first start by saying the Dallas Cowboys, to me, right now, are the best team in the NFL, and here's why. They have playmakers all over the football field. They have 5 wide receivers. They have a great tight end. They have a very good offensive line, and they have 2 running backs that can carry a team for a quarter or a half. On defense, they have playmakers all over the field. It's a lot like the Browns, right? You have a guy who could sack the quarterback in Micah Parsons, who's going to be Rookie of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year. You have Diggs, who is just gets an interception every time. Forget about Chris Collinsworth saying he looked into Heineke's soul, and like Chris Collinsworth is, I don't know if he drinks before the game. I don't know what happened.
He does.
He said
he has to. He has to.
Soul. Yeah, no, he's crazy.
Yeah.
So to me, the Dallas Cowboys right now are my number 1 team in the NFL because if they get the home field advantage, their speed is like the Browns, Brad, on defense is unbelievable. They go sideline to sideline better than anyone.
Yeah, they're a very good team. I don't know if I buy them as the best team in the NFL just because we saw a glimpse of what. Here's the thing, right? Like, they're very vanilla in what they run on the offense because they don't have to be creative because they have such good playmakers. And we saw that fail them a little bit when they lost those playmakers. So I'm wondering if a defense can't come out and take away some of that stuff and force them to be more creative. And I don't know if they can in that situation.
Yeah, listen, it's funny.
That scares me a little bit about them.
Because their offense, they kind of simplified it because they have so many playmakers around him, and Dak is just throwing it. And one thing about Mike McCarthy, dude, you're up. I said at halftime, you're up 35-7. Why are you trying to score again? And their tight end got drilled. He almost got hurt. What are you doing leaving your starters in at that point? I understand you're depleted because of COVID, but let's just switch gears for a second. I'm done with Ron Rivera. Ron Rivera has had one great season. He went 15-1. They lost the Super Bowl. He's coached 11 years. He's had 3 winning seasons.
Yeah.
11 years, 3 winning seasons. His players get into a fist fight on the sideline because they're getting their ass kicked. My first reaction would have been, why don't you take that aggression out on the Cowboys who are kicking our ass? My second reaction was, I coached for 10 years. Players got into fights during practices because it was heated. Our practices were so hard. Never once did a player on the sideline or a player on the bench during a game get into a fight with another player. Ron Rivera has lost this locker room, and more importantly than anything, we're giving him a bye. We're giving him a pass. Why? He's had one winning season. You do not see Bill Belichick team fight. You don't see Andy Reid's team fight. You don't see Sean McVay teams fight. You don't see Jim Harbaugh's team fight. What are you doing, Ron? What are you doing that your players are trying to beat each other up on the sideline?
Here's the thing about Washington, Monte, and I thought that Rivera might set this correct, but that was put to bed right away because as soon as he came on, all the stuff came out in the front office, right? The culture issue in Washington runs deep all the way through to their idiot owner. And Ron Rivera hasn't been able to fix it, and we're seeing that now. Last year was a Band-Aid of them getting in a really bad division and getting in the playoffs and people finding hope behind that. But we saw the real team this year. Their defense isn't what it was advertised to be, even though they played better. But he has no control over that locker room. He has no control over. He is supposed to be the culture changer there and the fixer there, and it's not happening. And you're right, he gets too much credit because it was a Cam Newton special season trip to the playoffs where you had great people all around you in a really good ran organization, and now you're in a not so good ran organization without the talent, and it's coming to light.
And again, he's had. If you're playing fantasy football and you go 3-8, that's terrible. He's 3-8 in 11 seasons. He doesn't even win 3 winning years, Ron Rivera. And people, he's such a disciplinarian. No, he's not. When your guys are fighting on the sideline, they're not buying what you're selling.
Yeah.
Because, like I said before, you don't see Bill Belichick teams fight. You don't see Sean McVay's teams fight. You don't see Andy Reid's team fight on the sideline.
Yeah.
And his explanation today was so lame.
Yeah. It's about buy-in, Monte. It's about buy-in, and they clearly don't have it. It hasn't happened, and if it hasn't happened after 2 years, then it's time to move on.
Okay, Brad, real quick before we get to the Monday night game.
Yeah.
Give us your top 3 in the AFC and give us your top 3 in the NFC.
Oh, boy. AFC has to be Kansas City 1. I'm still going to go New England 2. Give me 1 second here.
You're going to go Bills 3?
I don't know.
Are you buying what the Bengals are selling?
I'm going to go... I actually think that the third best team right now is the Colts.
You know what? I like, if you watch Hard Knocks, I like what the Colts coaching staff, I like that culture. Again, they're 9-0 when Carson Wentz throws less than, I think, 35 passes. So they know what they are. Their defense going into last week's game had 29 turnovers. I'm just going to switch it up. I'm going to go with Kansas City number 1. I'm going with the Colts number 2. And I'm going with the Bengals number 3. Okay, let's move to the NFC. Who's your top 3?
All right, top 3 in the NFC. I got, I still have the Packers 1. Despite a subpar performance against the Browns, I still have them as the best team in the NFC. I'll go Cowboys 2. Buccaneers 3.
Okay, and props to Greg for doing the Earl Morrow redux. Earl Morrow was a backup, I think, for the Colts, right? If that corrects me, back in the day in the late 60s. That's where I went there. Okay, so I'm going with Dallas number 1, Packers number 2. I'm going with the Rams number 3.
Yeah, I was there with the Rams, but something's going on with the Rams. I still think they're a good team, but they have not evolved like they should have at this point. I feel like they should be better than they are right now. Stafford having some issues late in the season. That's why I'm still there with the Bucs, because I think the Bucs know who they are, and I don't really think it matters. I mean, I think they can get done with Scotty Miller if they have to out there at wide receiver.
Doesn't matter. That's a good point. Okay, Brad, let's break this game down tonight. Originally going into this game, I kind of had the Saints favored. My thing is, if the Saints can do what they did to Tom Brady, what can they do with Tua? But if you look at Tua right now, they've won 6 in a row. He's number 1 in completion percentage. I know it's a very safe offense. The Saints are without 21 players. 21 players are on the COVID list. Brad, you're down 1. I'll make it easy for you. I'm taking the Dolphins. So if you want to go the other way, or you could go with the Dolphins and live to fight another day, still stay down 1.
Oh, so I'm not sure. I need to know, what's the spread in this game?
The spread was originally 3 points. I'm going to check right now for you. So I mean, I can't see how Miami is not favored here because, they're down 21. Yeah, it's 3 points. Miami's favored by 3.
And the game is in New Orleans.
So basically, Vegas is telling you right now that Miami's a 6-point favorite.
Right, and they're starting Ian Book, as Andrea asked if Ian Book was any good. He is former Notre Dame quarterback. He was a good college quarterback, but he is their third-string quarterback in a organization that doesn't even have a real starting quarterback.
Actually fourth string, right? Because it was Jameis Winston, it was Hill, Trevor Siemian, and now Ian Book.
So, I wish I knew who they were missing. Do you know who they're mainly missing? Are they offensive players, defensive players? Are they missing?
I'm going to check for you right now, Brad.
Good man.
Brad, while I'm looking this up, do the Browns make the playoffs, yes or no?
Since this isn't my show, and probably not a lot of people from Cleveland are watching, I'll say probably not. I think it'll take a long shot miracle. I do think that it's very possible they get the help they need, but can they win the last 2, including one over the Bengals? I don't know.
Okay, Brad, I'm going to read this off to you right here. Defensive line, Carl Granderson, Malcolm Roach, linebacker Demario Davis, Quan Alexander, safety Malcolm Jenkins, quarterback Taysom Hill, offensive line Ryan Ramczyk, wide receiver Dante Harris, tight ends Juwan Johnson, and they're missing 4 coaches.
Wow. I'll take the Eagles. Yeah, I'll take the Eagles. How about that? No, I'm just kidding.
Well.
I'll take the Dolphins. I was trying to take the Eagles. They don't even play in this game. The Dolphins is who I'll take. I'll live to fight another day. Either way, I'm not going down on this stupid game. How about that?
This is listen. Everything's run are good for an Alex Scooby actor who's on the show a bunch of times. Ever since he's been on my show, he came on the show when the Dolphins were 1-6. They've now won 1-7. They've now won 6 straight. He's going to come on next week if they win because he is obviously the lucky charm coming on this show. Give credit to the Dolphins. They were dead in the water, and now everything is going right for them, whether it's COVID, whether it's an easy schedule. But the Dolphins have been playing great. But would you be shocked if the Saints win despite everyone being out?
No, I wouldn't, because we're taking crazy pills.
All right, Brad, who do you like for New Year's Eve? By the way, programming note, we will be live at halftime on New Year's Eve, myself and Joe Cardozo at halftime of the Alabama-Cincinnati game, and then double dipping halftime of the Michigan-Georgia game. We'll be live here on the Full Monty Sports Show, halftime, both games,
fun.
New Year's Eve. Real quick, who do you like in each?
I like an all-SEC final.
Me too.
I mean, can you really? I mean, I don't even think these games will be. I don't think the semifinal games will be close, really, at all. To be honest, Monte.
I think Michigan can hang for a half, but I think they were able to push around Ohio State. They're not going to be able to push around Georgia. Georgia's too fast for them. So I think it's going to be Alabama, Georgia, and everyone's going to be miserable outside of the SEC.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think they'll be either game will be close in the fourth quarter at all.
Okay, Brad, how can we follow you? How can we support you? When is your next show?
Thursday night, we will be doing another show, and then on guests to be determined. Got a couple people lined up, maybe. But we've had a couple really good shows the last few weeks here. Good numbers, up over 3,000 views on a couple of them, and then. We're closing in on that 2,000 followers, so you can follow me on Twitter at Ward on Sports. That's my last name, WARD on Sports, and then at All Eyes on Cleveland is the podcast and website, alleyesoncleveland.com.
Brad,
I also write for the Browns Wire, USA Today Sports Media Group.
Do me a favor. When the football season is over.
Yes.
Please have me on, because I want to talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are very good, and the rest of the NBA has no idea how good they are. Are they going to go after Ben Simmons? Are they making a trade? What do they need?
They need a 3. They need a 3 and D guy that can get them 21 when Garland isn't, they take away Garland or they take away Allen. They need a guy that can score better than Okoro. Now, Okoro's coming along. He's a nice piece. He's playing better.
Not a main guy.
But not a main guy. They need a guy that can go get them that from the 3 spot. Now, Lauri Markkanen fills in nicely there, and he can get you that sometimes, but not regular enough. I think they need a real 3. And I think they're going to be active at the trade deadline looking to try to get one, because this team, unlike other teams in the NBA, they move the ball. They're fun to watch. They play really good defense. They're a lot like the Utah Jazz in that way. And it's good
and Ricky
basketball.
Rubio has been phenomenal.
Godsend. Yeah, and they're doing all this without Sexton. They're fun to watch. They're a lot of fun to watch because it's not ISO basketball. It's good basketball.
Yeah, no, people don't realize how good the Cavs are this year.
Yeah.
I think they're 4th in the East, and if they stay healthy and they're aggressive, they're going to make the playoffs. And when was the last time they made the playoffs without LeBron James? I can't even remember.
Never. Not back into the, I think, like 89 or 90, to be honest.
Mark Price, Brad Daugherty.
Yeah, Larry Nance Sr.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Brad. Listen, I'm probably not going to talk to you or see you. So Happy New Year to you and your family. We'll see you in the new year.
Absolutely. Happy New Year to everybody in the chat. I love everybody that joins this show. So thank everybody so much for tuning in and watching and joining us. Monday nights are so much fun.
Brad,
thanks, guys.
You did a great job. We're wishing A-Marie a speedy recovery. She'll be back next week. I'll see you next Monday.
All right, sir.
All right. I want to thank Brad Ward. I want to thank everyone being so active in the chat. I want to thank you guys. Wish you a safe and happy New Year. Please be careful going out, not just with COVID. If you are going out on New Year's Eve, please try to go out early. You don't want to be driving with a lot of people around, especially late at night. I know it's a big holiday. It's fun to go out and get dressed up, but try to do it early. If you could do it early, that would be better. And in the immortal words of Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back. You have a record that will never be broken.
You can't trip on that.
They hit big shots with Luka. I think the Clippers have no idea. Oh, look at that reaction. Look at that reaction.